Kisses that once in a lifetime.
Okay, so that was it for my brother's guns and my dad's gun. Now I'm going to get into my personal guns, and I'll start it right off with one of my favorites. This is a highly upgraded Thompson, and you've probably already seen it on YouTube before, or you might have, because this was built by another YouTuber by the name of Regular Guy Airsoft. He built this thing to be an absolute monster. If you want to know what specific parts are in there, check out his video on this Thompson. We'll leave a link for that. And he'll go over all the specific parts he used. But one of the main highlights of parts is the siege shed gears that are in here, and I'll show you what this thing sounds like with the battery plugged in. It shoots amazing and sounds great. So as you can see, it's not your ordinary Thompson. Alright, so I'm going to get on to my next gun. It's another Thompson. This one is a tomppabeats Thompson. It's, with the exception of a MOSFET inside, it's completely stock. But this one is really more of a collector's piece, as tomppabeats Thompsons, and you can't buy them off eVic or Airsoft anymore. They'd have to be imported, and tomppabeats stuff in general is usually harder to get than most other brands. But yeah, I mean, feels very solid, just like kind of like the other one externally. Again, it's stock internals, but this is a maybe in terms of future upgrades, and I probably have to do the same thing as my other Thompson that I use in game. But it doesn't shoot that bad for being stock. The bucking is still good. This gun, I got it came with the box when I bought it from the seller, and he bought this gun in 2001. So this thing is over almost 20 years old, and it actually still works. The only thing that's been changed is one of the gears stripped, so the guy we normally go to put in some new standard 18-to-1s, and it still works fine. And yeah, I'm just amazed. Not even the bucking has had to be replaced, or anything has been replaced with this gun. So yeah, this is just really my collector's piece, but it's also a good gun. Alright, so now I'm going to get into some of my personal M4 builds, and we'll start off with this guy right here. This is my long M4, or my Block 2 sort of build. It technically doesn't have the Block 2 rail, these are 7.62 rail, but it looks close enough. And I built this gun for long range outdoor play, or I had this gun built for a long range outdoor play. So I'll just go over, it's just got a nice medical study grip here, repro, and then a nice illuminated red and green sight I got for it. And then I added this King Arms battle axe looking stock, which fits the kind of lipos I run in this gun really, really nice. But I'll go over what it has internally, so let's start off with some of the barrel parts. It features a 602 R-hopped and lap barrel by Dan Blockquist again, also with a Prometheus purple bucking, flat hopped, and a Pro-Win hop-up unit. Inside the gearbox, it's got a Gate Titan MOSFET, an ASG 16 TPA motor, 30K. It's got a Lonix compression kit with the palm piston head, cylinder. It's got a SHS high-speed piston, and I believe it has an M120 spring right now. But overall, I get very good trigger response out of this gun with the motor and Gate Titan combo. Shoots pretty far, it gets around like 275 feet. But this gun is also kind of a work in progress as well, because I'm going to upgrade to a better motor that's higher TPA, probably the 28 TPA one, and then upgrade the spring so it shoots 450 FPS. This shoots about 400, but I'd really like it to be more of a designated marksman rifle. It kind of is, but it could, if I want to be more of a DMR, I should really lower the rate of fire and go for more range and consistency. And I'm going to put a new bucking, as this bucking is actually kind of getting old. But I will show you the trigger pull, very, very short and snappy. And then full auto. So it gets a nice, good rate of fire, but again, I'm going to build this to shoot a little hotter, so it's still kind of work in progress, but overall, great gun. Alright, so I'm actually going to get to my most, you could probably say expensive gun out of my collection, as this thing is completely customized. Just about everything except the gearbox shell is stock, or is not stock, excuse me. Start off real quick with the externals. I got a UDG metal foregrip that just feels good. It's really cheap, so I want to sell it, so that's why I just want to throw it out here. I've got a T1 Repro And I've got a mag pouch to hold batteries because this gun requires some very large batteries to power it to make it run its best. Let's go over what it has internally. So let's start with the barrel. It's got a Prometheus 603 barrel, just a standard one with the flat top Prometheus purple bucking. As you can tell, this is a CQB gun, so I'm using a softer bucking in that case. And then I actually, since the barrel was sticking out of the stock suppressor a little bit, I got a newer suppressor that covers the barrel completely. So I like that look better. Plus it's already so short, the barrel already goes way down in here. So let's talk about what it has internally again in the gearbox. I've got a 28 TPA ASG Infinity motor with a SiegeTech pinion, and I've got a SiegeTech 10 to 1 DSG set here. I'm not sure the spring, but it's heavier to get the FPS up because it gets around 325, 330 right now, which is perfect because this is a CQB gun. Definitely the snappiest gun I own. Show you guys the trigger pull. And then full auto. So as you can see, it's just a really high rate of fire gun. I think it gets around 43 RPS. This is the last time I checked on the Gate Titan. Oh, and that's another thing. It has a Gate Titan MOSFET in here. Actually, you'll see all my M4s have Gate Titans. But yeah, so I really like this gun. Very maneuverable. Extremely accurate. It doesn't have a ton of range, but I mean, look at this thing. It's smaller, but it's very accurate for what it can do. In the field we play at, there's a lot of buildings to peek around, and this I don't even have to readjust to try to get around those buildings. So yeah, it's really nice. And then, sorry, I forgot to mention earlier, actually I changed the grip to Ares. This is actually off a Hellbreaker, because the Ares grips are really nice. And then I have a Retro Arms J-Trike trigger with the hair trigger mod there. So you can see really short trigger pull. But yeah, I absolutely love this gun. Very accurate, and does really well in CQB environment. All right, so as I go to my favorite gun now, I'm gonna go ahead and get out, or show you that there's two stock guns in here that are loaner guns that we let people that play with us use. This is just an EMG Hellbreaker. The only thing done to it is a flat out bucking to make it shoot a little better, and swapped out actually the grip on my stubby. I took off this gun and I put the standard grip on there. But this has a Rocket 16 TPA motor, just for a little bit of better rate of fire and trigger response. But yeah, it's one of our loaner guns, and it's not too bad externally, but it even has a functioning bolt lock, which is kind of cool, and a rotary hop up. But yeah, that seems to be a favorite in terms of loaner gun. And then the other loaner gun is this stock JG-3. Actually, it still needs some work done to it. Still got Tamiya connectors, and it's got a bucking that's frayed. So I'm not really 100% sure what I'm going to do with this, but for now it's a loaner gun. Very lightweight since it's plastic. But my favorite gun out of the bunch is my VFC Mark 18. Absolutely love this thing. This is by far my favorite gun in terms of looks and performance. I mean, the stubby does perform more than this gun, but this gun is still great. We'll start off with what it's got. Externally, it's got a stubby tan Repro MOE4 grip here. Got some tan rail covers. Actually, fun fact, these rails were black, but I found some paint, like spray paint at Walmart, which is actually kind of a cool bronze color, and I decided to paint the rails that color instead. And I actually like the way it looks because it's like my own unique bronze color. It's not the standard flat dark earth one. So that's really cool. I really like that. And then I got just a cheap Repro pack box on here. It doesn't function or anything, just for looks. I painted that tan and tried to make it more of a kind of a rugged sort of tan look, so it's not completely clean, but it's got like some black scuffs, which makes it look like it's been used a lot. I did the same thing for the Repro T1, which was also originally black, but as you can see, I painted tan all over it. And I also did the same for the stock, which is a Magpul Repro stock that I also did the same thing for, was also black. And then I got a battery pouch on here for running bigger brick lipos. I run basically all my guns with big brick lipos. It's good for what's in it internally. As you will see, it's got a Gate Titan like my other guns, as you probably just heard. And let's go over what it has internally. It's got an Infinity or AC Infinity 30K motor. It's got SHS 13-to-1 gears. It's got a SHS piston. I'm not sure the spring, but I'm gonna guess it's an M110 or M120, but it's been tuned to shoot 330 FPS. Another CQB gun, I like that. It's got a Pro Win hop up and also a functioning bolt lock, just like kind of like the Hellbreaker, but VFC also does the really nice externals, and they have little touches like this, which is really cool. As you can see, it functions like a back piece. Yeah, and then I got, as I already mentioned, the Gate Titan. Not sure what cylinders in here, but it does the job just fine. I'll show you guys how it sounds now. This trigger actually I have full. I haven't hair triggered it, but it still can go all the way back, but it's still very, very snappy, and you can still spam it. And then full auto. It gets around like 35, 36 RPS at 330 FPS, so it's another great CQB indoor gun, just like my study. But I just love the way this thing looks, and very, very maneuverable. I do have a QD suppressor that I sometimes run, but I like this much better. Just because how I play, I'm usually peeking around buildings a lot. And yeah, this has been nothing but a great gun for me. It's been a workhorse. This is the first gun I got a Titan for. And yeah, I really like the Gate Titan. It's worked really, really well. I know how some people have some issues with it, but I have not had any issues with any of my Gate Titans. So yeah, and then all my M4s were built by the person who lives down the street. But yeah, and then forgot to mention real quick, barrel, stock barrel, but a flat Prometheus purple bucket with a pro. And that's really it for this gun. So I'm going to start off with some of our pistols now. And this is my brother's that I mentioned earlier, the one that lives away for school. This is his CZ P09. Actually, no, it's not a P09, excuse me, it's a CZ75. Yeah, it's actually the only one that's green gas, and that's my biggest dislike about this gun. I'm personally not a big fan of green gas, as it tends to be a little more leaky than CO2, but it does shoot well when it does hold the gas, and it's extremely comfortable, and it's nice. And yeah, it's got a nice silver trigger, and it just looks very nice, and it's very, very comfortable. I think you can get CO2 mags for this gun, so it's not so much the gun itself I don't like, it's just the power system it uses. But yeah, that's it for that. And then move on to my other brother's gun. This is his personal sidearm. This is his Elite Force 1911. It's his main one. It's a tactical one. These are probably overall the best pistols you can buy in Airsoft. I mean, there's some that maybe perform a little better, but in terms of price and quality and reliability, these are just great. They are kind of loud, so they're not really great for a stealth setup, whereas like a Tokyo Mark 23 might be better for that. But these are really nice pistols. We'll move on to mine. This is also another Elite Force 1911, the non-tactical one. This one's extremely old, but it works great. Haven't had to do anything to it. I'm not a huge pistol guy anyways. I use my AAGs more, but this does the job just fine. Our field requires that we have to have sidearms, and the way I got this, I didn't even buy it. I traded a bunch of old tactical gear for it. So I'm happy, it works. And I actually traded more gear for another broken one of these, but I only wanted it because it had a spare mag. And I didn't mind getting rid of some gear I didn't use. So pistol still works fine. And then these are some cheap CO2 pistols, all plastic, as you can probably hear. But they work great. They're actually loader pistols. And since, as I mentioned earlier, our field requires that everyone has to have a pistol, we have those for that very reason. But yeah, these are all CO2 pistols except for this, and I'm pretty sure you can get a CO2 mag if you want to go that route. But overall, they all shoot great. So I actually also almost forgot to mention this, and this is actually probably one of our coolest items. First of all, I did not build this, a buddy built this, but I'm going to show you what it is. It works extremely well when you go play it in the open field, and definitely gets a lot of looks on the airsoft field. And what's kind of cool is it fits snugly in a standard shotgun sheath. But without further ado, let's get to what it actually is, and I'll explain why I have one down here in a minute. But this is our homemade rocket launcher, and I'm usually the one who's carried this thing the most, but yeah, it's basically our closest thing we have to a support weapon. Homemade rocket launcher powered by a single CO2 cartridge, and it's really convenient to use because you just unscrew this piece at the end. Very, very easy. And then you just drop the CO2 in there. And then you put it back like so. And then that's how you would power this thing. And this lever right here, so when the CO2 is primed, you always want to have this up, by the way, because this is what closes the valve. If you leave it down like this, all the CO2 will leak. But to fire it, you hold it like this and get enough leverage, get it positioned with good leverage, and then crank this down really fast to release the CO2, and then that pushes out the projectile. And what we use as a projectile are these. And this is actually probably the most expensive part of this because I have lost a few over the years. But these are Nerf Vortex rockets. What I really like about these though is they howl. So it actually simulates a real, kind of like a real mortar fire. It's the closest thing you can get in Airsoft to a mortar. But these are fantastic. They fit snugly inside this PVC pipe. And by the way, this whole thing was built out of parts from Lowe's. But it fits extremely snug in here. And I mentioned that wooden dowel earlier because I carry that with me to shove down in there like an actual cannon. So that's really, really cool. This thing gets very, very good range. You can probably get a good couple hundred feet with the rocket up in the air. It is quite expensive as these can get lost and it requires a full CO2 canister every time you shoot it. And the last time I checked, the cheapest deal I could find for some CO2 canisters is like 20 bucks for 40. So it gets a little pricey to do over time, but this is great for like Milsim fields or just really open fields where they play with mortars. And it definitely is a great conversation piece on the airsoft field. And it's fun to use. So yeah, can't complain about this at all other than the expensive cons that I mentioned earlier, but it performs absolutely fantastic and it's a lot of fun. Alright guys, that basically wraps it with our Airsoft Arsenal. Let us know what guns or objects you want to see us use on the airsoft field on our gameplay videos. Also let us know which guns you want to see, if you want to see any full in-depth reviews of any of the particular guns that were either my brother's or mine or even my dad's or other brothers. And also let us know how we're doing. This is our first video. Feedback would be super appreciated. Just anything you have to say about how we're making our videos. But yeah, let us know if you have any more questions, and we hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.